I'm Bryce Yang. I'm the marketing director for WWE 2K16. Well, the franchise has actually changed. For an annual title, sometimes they get reputations for not changing a lot, but the game has definitely changed a lot in the last few years. So this is the third game that will come out under the 2K banner. It's really the second year, though, that 2K is able to really wrap its hands around this product. Before, 2K14 was pretty much done, but this year, it's building off a great foundation from last year, and yeah, big changes. A lot of big changes this year. A few things, right? The roster size itself, just a massive roster, the biggest one we've ever had. And then a lot of the core wrestling mechanics have changed a lot in the last few years. So definitely a lot more authentic in terms of what you see in the game, just like you see on TV, right? So whether it's like match pacing or the options that you can have in the ring, or even out of the ring too. A lot of the outside of the ring happenings that go on in WWE you can do in the game as well. Those have all come in just the last few years. So the roster itself, last year's roster was a little smaller than the prior years, and our fans, what we found in the feedback from our fans and critics, and from research that we did, is that they love the roster, more than anything. They want the biggest roster they could possibly have. So after all the feedback and going through that, figured, let's over-deliver on the roster. More options than ever before, and a lot goes into making each of those characters, right? So not only do they look different, they walk different. They have their own unique moves, taunts, and all the, production character elements too, right? So their own personalized music, video, LED displays all around the arena. There's actually, I believe, a few dozen displays of just, LED lights that WWE has in an arena. Those have to be, individual to each person also, right? So it's a ton of work, but the team's doing a great job, delivering on the roster this year. So the entrances are obviously such a big part of the overall WWE show. Some people will say it's as important as the actual action between the bell. Finn Balor specifically, as you mentioned, we had him and some other guys come in to do their own mocap this year. But some of these guys, you can have other people try to do it, but doesn't capture it perfectly. And a guy like Finn, his first year, high-profile guy, it's that entrance is such a big part of his overall persona. So yeah, he came in and did his own entrance, crawled around towards the ring, and a lot of his own moves and taunts as well. But we've had a good group of guys come through the mocap studio that we have up in Northern California, just to make sure the game's as authentic as we can make it to be. So you can definitely, that's like the rally cry for the campaign this year, right? It's how do you, it's almost like a mantra for a lot of on the marketing side for 2K, right? Like, how do we make as much noise as possible, right? It's another way of saying that. So if you look at the game itself, so Steve Austin on the cover, he's probably the biggest Hellraiser ever in WWE, right? You have the loudest pre-order announcement we've done to date with Arnold Schwarzenegger, as the Terminator, from T1 and T2 if you pre-order the game, right? And there's a lot of other things coming down the pipeline that you'll see as well. But in the game itself, it's just, you can do so much. There's so many different options, right? You can recreate everything you see in WWE. You can create stuff from your own imagination. It's pretty much, boundless in what you can conjure up in the game. I'd say that Arnold Schwarzenegger is probably, one of the more beloved personalities globally of the last 30 years than, as much as anybody, right? So, Arnold is a total pro. We had him on set shooting that commercial spot recreating the biker bar scene from Terminator 2. He came in and he did a scan of his face, just like all the guys you see around the room, to make sure that he looked perfect. And then he's been working with us on the the promotional part as well. His social media stuff is pretty great these days, and we have some things in the works with him on that front too. So yeah, Arnold's the definition of a global icon. Depends who you ask. If you ask those guys, I think Arnold, Steve Austin's funny you asked. Steve Austin actually did a call out, some trash talking towards Arnold Schwarzenegger after that trailer came out. And I believe if you asked him, he would say that he would drop Arnold on that stack of dimes he calls a neck with his move, the Stone Cold Stunner. And then if you ask Arnold, he'd probably drop an Hasta La Vista in there somewhere. But I think you'll be seeing more on that front pretty soon. Three words. Well, it's too easy to say Race in Hell. Oh wow, that's a good one. I would just say that it is the ultimate WWE experience. There's no other form of tied to this brand, right? You can watch something on TV, you can go to an event and cheer for it and be entertained, or you can actively create and play through historical WWE stuff, current day. You can create your own content. You can make your own fantasy WWE with your own characters or other characters from past or current. You can do that, but it's very interactive, right? It's the experience, and you don't really have that with toys or trading cards or any other products like that.